So fitting the transmission to the transmission mount, this is the factory Dodge crossmember, and I've notched it on each end to fit pieces of the Ford factory crossmember to just slot in and then drop down on like this. You can see there's still too much gap here, so I'll just go along and cut these until this is sitting flush against this and then weld it solid. For cutting the ends of this crossmember, I just used this bolt hole where the Dodge mounts the crossmember to the truck right here. Did that on both sides so it was equal. One of the things you do got to notice about Fords and Mopars is they offset the transmission to one side. You see the gap here is much larger than the gap here. Ford did the same thing for this, and they marked it which side was which. So you just got to make sure to remember that when you're putting it in there. And the only reason you can't use the Ford one is because it has this big old kick up here in the center. You can see it's quite a bit of up compared to the Dodge one. I tried just using the stock one, and it won't fit. So rather than have to reinvent the wheel and build all this new stuff, new mounts, I'll just cut this down, plate them together, and then weld it solid. Alright, here's it tacked together. Not a huge fan of it. This side didn't want to line up correct, so I'm kind of here. It does hold it up in there, but it just doesn't look great. As you can see, this is the first problem I've run into. I can either smack the body for making clearance, or I could just cut that rib down. There you can see I've notched it. I prefer that to beating the heck out of the body. I'm not a big fan of beating up trucks just to put a drivetrain in it. So put a little notch in it. Doesn't need all that much strength there on the back. It's not a big deal. Here's the completed look. It's not great on this side. It's not perfect, but it's pretty decent. I may revisit it later, but it's pretty decent. All those line up pretty well. That has, you know, some clearance. And I can run the exhaust right down there, straight to the stock tailpipe. Plenty of room. Almost like they thought this through. Starting to build out the transmission mount in CAD. I started with my anchor points that are on the frame. As you can see here, those round sections. Then I went over to sheet metal tab and I built this flange out here for building the lower section. I also added interlocking tabs for the top panel, as you can see here. Added the slots for the transmission mount. Then I mirrored these lower parts over and across. Finalizing the intake manifold, you can see here that I've got the intake runners all placed on the flanges. Here, make them disappear so it's separate, so you can 3D print them separately. I've also added the injector buns directly to the flange, as you can see here. These are the coolant crossovers that I've added so that pulls the coolant out of the back of the heads. There's your distributor spot. There's your runners back. You can see the coolant tube should go right down the center, out of the way of the injectors and the fuel rails. Here's my air box. I haven't decided if I want to put a charge air cooler in it or not. And you can see at the top there I've added a lip so that the rubber boot can slide over and have somewhere to hold on to. Yeah, it's coming together though.